And people passing by going, "You get him, girl, you get him, girl." I will. And it was a long time before I drove again. And that made me think, I better become a safer driver because I could end up killing somebody. Boy, can you imagine if I actually would have hit that car and hurt my mom that way? That changed my behavior that day. I became a safer driver because I didn't want anything like that to happen to me again. Now, my cousin Sonny, he just got wilder and wilder, got himself a motorcycle. One day he's driving really fast down the road and he hit a car. He flew about 100 feet and he landed in a cemetery. Now, he had 2 broken legs and a broken pelvis and a broken arm. And he looks up and he sees a gravestone. And he says to himself, he says, "I'm dead." And then he passed out again. So they brought him to the hospital. Check this out. He wakes up in a hospital, and back in Louisiana, we had these white inside, all white walls and a white ceiling with a little ceiling fan, big bright lights on him. And this nurse leans over, and she's like all white, and he looks up, and he says, "Man, I'm dead. I'm in heaven." And the nurse says, "No, you're not. You're in Louisiana." But that changed his attitude, and he became a better driver after that. The answer to validation question number 1 is B, as in boy. Mark down B on your validation sheet. Okay, I have a letter that I would like to read to you real quick. This is from the AAA magazine. Here it is. It says, "A friend of mine got a ticket for reading a newspaper on the freeway. The traffic was extremely heavy on the freeway. My friend was looking back and forth from the paper to the freeway. Have you ever heard of a situation like this? Has anybody ever seen anything like this? Have you? What have you seen out there?"
Reading a map.
Reading maps. What else?
Writing?
Writing.
Talking through the cell phone.
Talking on the cell phone. I see that all the time.
Putting on makeup.
Putting on makeup.
Inserting contacts.
Oh, putting on contact lens? I see this all the time. Now, look, we all see this. People eating and drinking. Guys shaving in their car. Have you seen that? Women shaving. I hate that, doggone it. That messes me all up. Remember that if you're an unaware driver, or if you're an aggressive driver, your car is like a loaded weapon. It's like a gun that somebody gave you that you can either choose to point at somebody or put it back in your pocket, or don't even have a loaded gun at all. So when you're 15, 16, 17 years old in this country, the DMV or the state will allow you to drive, but it's like you're driving a loaded weapon. So you have to own up to that responsibility. It's a privilege to be allowed to drive a vehicle in this country. It's a right to own the vehicle, but it's a privilege to be allowed to drive it. So always keep that in mind. During this segment of the course, we'll be talking about your responsibilities when driving a motor vehicle on public roads. We'll also talk about some conditions you need to follow in order to keep your driving privilege. Let's see if you know the answer to this one. Drivers who get more tickets are involved in blank crashes. Probably most of you have guessed the answer is more. Drivers who get more tickets also have more collisions. Now, as soon as you apply for a driver's license, the state's licensing agency will start a file on your driving record. Every time you're convicted of a traffic violation or you're involved in a collision, it's recorded on your driving record. Most of this file will be available to the public. Law enforcement agencies, employers, and insurance companies check your driving record through these files. Lately, even rental car agencies have been gaining access to your driving record before they rent you a car. If your driving record indicates that you committed too many violations or you've been involved in too many crashes, the state may take away your driving privilege. Remember, the driving privilege is exactly that, a privilege. And if you don't treat it right, you may lose it.